We will be running through the 6 with our woes, as she says. Game 3, P's and B's. CryptiK with the first point.
CryptiK back in the first pick position as well. But they're going to actually choose to just ban away King Arthur immediately, maybe trying to get that priority pick of the Xbalanque early on. I would not be surprised if CryptiK maybe even looked to ban the Kali.
Interesting. That might be a good look for sure. We'll keep an eye on it. Right now, King Arthur, the only ban here from Team CryptiK, Merlin on the other side. And Team CryptiK right now going to ban out the Artio, so they are kind of leaving that Xbalanque available. Whether Spacestation wants to or not is a different story. We'll see which ban comes through. It will be the Freya. Interesting. I'm not really too offended by Freya.
I think Freya makes sense, though, because BennyQ and Oswaald both really like the Freya pick. And whichever team has been either first... Oh, actually, it has just been Spacestation banning it out every single time so far. So it's probably just because of the fact that if they had to make a choice between Xbalanque or Freya, maybe Spacestation Gold feel like as a team, it'll be easier to kill the Xbalanque in comparison to the Freya.
Certainly could be, but Mattypocket gets his Bacchus back, one of the stronger choices that he's liked to play. Not just now, but historically. Matty has always generally enjoyed the big man. Achilles will go one more time to SSGG. Love this choice. Uzzy looked really good on it in game number 1. Hoping to bring it back for game number 3.
All these years pass, and Mattypocket's still playing Bacchus.
Still playing Bacchus,
But didn't he do this on Enemy as well?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Exactly, yeah. See, and still sticking true to it. But hey, Fat Man Slam is definitely the way to go right now. I love the amount of interrupt that it can provide when trying to collapse on top of a Xbalanque. That Rising Jaguar can be fairly annoying because of the fact that the tail end of it gives you that CC immunity. So having somebody like Bacchus to kind of break up and forcibly separate a team fight could be important because it's going to allow Uzzy, I think, on this Achilles, a lot more entryways to the back line.
Well, CryptiK going to take the Thoth guy out one more time, and you were talking about the Fat Man Slam's ability to disperse the team fight. Kumbhakarna fits that just as well. Bacchus perhaps a little bit more offensive than Kumba, but take a look at that ult, so maybe 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. Bakasura will be Mask's character of choice here. Very similar to Kali, but perhaps a little bit earlier than her.
A little bit more early game focus for sure, and the Regurgitate being able to apply that cripple effect could also be super strong against this Thoth and Xbalanque. Kumbhakarna, though, playing a Bakasura into the Kumba, not necessarily ideal. Mass is definitely going to have to be mindful, but same could be said to Mineral. I don't think you can just take that Kumba mez for granted. You've got to be careful with the timing of it, otherwise you might hit the Bakasura with it when he's in his own CC immunity for that split second underneath the Regurgitate. Super true,
something that I think Mineral will have to be aware of, but Mineral's also one of the stronger, Kumba's one of the better picks for Mineral, I should say. So we'll see how that works out. Second round of bans, CryptiK say no to 2 mages, and Spacestation Gaming say no to 2 tanky jungle options. So with that in mind, Hachiman will be the carry of choice here for Spacestation Gaming. And moving over to CryptiK side, they need 2 more choices. One will be Hebo, that'll likely be in the jungle. And you want to see in a Wheelish?
Maybe. I don't know. It's been so long since Copebby's played his signature Wheelish, man. That's what he was known for. I mean, when he first got picked up by Weekend, I think that was like Copebby's heyday of his Wheelish gameplay. I'm actually a little bit surprised that he chose not to go for it here, but can't say that Ratatoskr is an easy god to pass up.
Is it going to be the Hebo jungle or the Rat jungle? Because one of those characters, either Hebo or Rat, has to go solo.
I think it'd be a lot more preferable for Zearoe to take the Habwa into the solo lane.
Ooh.
That seems more like a Zearoe type of play.
We'll see. It's game number 3. Raijin is locked in for SSGG. Take us to the promised land, Finch and Ryan.
Team CryptiK up against Spacestation. Nice job there on the desk, Tom and Taco. It's Finch and Aggro here as we bring you the conclusion. Can Spacestation find their first set victory here in the SML North America? We have our chance to find out. Also, shout out, I saw Hinduman out there following along at home. Glad to have you here with us as we move into this final game.
Why the shout out for Hinduman?
Well, just because I saw him in the chat.
I saw other people in the chat too.
Who'd you? Oh, shout him out then.
No,
Let's hear it.
They don't deserve it.
Oh, well, Hindu does.
Okay, if you say so.
He's our fearless leader, Aggro.
Fearless leader indeed. That's my favorite phrase for any boss ever because it's so unbelievably condescending. But
no
one's
ever truly meant it, right?
But it's also like, you know they can't get that mad about it.
Right, because then that would be them saying they're not a fearless leader.
Right.
They're the catch-22.
You really do outplay them with it.
Well, you can't outplay Hindu Man in that sense because he's already at the brink. He's always already there, so you can't, like, he loves, that's right where he lives. BennyQ at the brink of death here as well. Mattypocket yet again with the jug, finding a kill.
Yeah, that's, when you use your beads wave 1, and you don't have a dash to get away or anything like that, and you've hopefully, and this is fingers crossed here, pressed tab and looked at the enemy support relic, and you go, what do I think is going to happen if I walk into this purple buff? It should have been, he's going to stun me again, and then horrific emblem me. And that just, that thought process must not have been there for CryptiK. That one's pretty easy for SSG.
Well, definitely an unfortunate spill to take that early onto the game, but it's a great start if you're Spacestation to get off to a good start. Sometimes, I hear it all the time, you don't mind giving your support first blood in particular. Some extra gold to sort of accelerate the farm can be nice.
Do you hear this from Hindu Man? Is that who you hear it from?
I've never heard advice from Hindu Man on any subject about anything once.
Oh.
Have you? I mean, I haven't.
Yeah, it's like, stop talking is usually the advice that he gives me.
Yeah, I'll be like, Hindu Man, can I get some casting advice? He'd be like, yeah, stop.
Yes, stop doing it. Exactly. No, I mean, I just figured that's usually the support you're hearing that from. It can be true.
Sure.
Where you want to give them that extra gold. And Mattypocket's gotten a lot of first bloods, it's felt like, so far. And just a lot of last hits this set in general. Certainly not a bad thing by any stretch, but it's just kind of funny how it's worked out for him. But especially on gods like Bacchus, if you can get them a lead and get them a pen boots early on, then they can end up doing quite a bit of damage a lot of the time. And so if there is a support who's going to get last hits, I think that Bacchus is one of the better ones for it.
Makes some sense. They're a little bit ahead, and BennyQ showing some respect to it. Still no beads or sprint available for that dual lane, so they absolutely have to pay that respect over to Matty and Oswaald, or they could fall yet again. Sops, though, is back on this Thoth, and he had some really highlight plays on this in Game 1, right? Some nice stuff that he was able to do from the middle lane. So if we can get back to that, then maybe CryptiK can turn things around and grab the set.
But I love Spacestation Gold's draft so much more than I did in Game 1. I mean, Mask is on a I'm going to win the game for us type of god. Chapo's on a god who can support pretty well while also can get pretty invested and play very aggressively, given the right opportunity. Mattypocket's on his best pick, I think, bar none. The Kuzenbo was rough in Game 1 for sure. Matty's Bacchus feels a lot more comfortable to me. Oswaald has looked better on the Hachiman than he did on the Jingwei. I mean, this is just a better comp, I think, from Spacestation Gold this time around. And I wonder if Sops is going to be able to have that same type of success with this style of composition, where Matty's going to be it's going to be a lot easier for the Bacchus and the Guardian to initiate onto him, not having to rely on Mask to have to do it out of the jungle.
Yeah, I wonder if there'll be more magic defense out there, too, now that Zearoe's on this Hambois over here in the solo lane.
Good point.
Which I'd be surprised if it's a tanky Hambois.
It won't be. Zearoe doesn't play tanky anything, okay? Look at his build. Last game, I mean, he goes the Gem of Isolation early on.
Right.
This man likes to deal his damage. He builds damage on Vamana when he plays it in this lane. I mean, that's what he likes to do. There's no chance on earth this is a tanky Hambois when it comes down to it. Maybe at best, you're looking at Bruiser Hambois if you're looking for damage. But this will be a Bancroft's Talon right after the boots, or even potentially before the boots. And now that Mask is level 5 and has Golden Blade, it's ganking time.
And he has absolutely picked his target. It's Oswaald. That's in some trouble. Mineral is the one that actually grabs that kill, so it's really Team CryptiK that gets off to a good start. The epic uppercut comes through as well, and Mattypocket is pushed away. Cope, the one who makes it over to the lane a little bit sooner for Team CryptiK, and that favors them over Spacestation.
Good job by Cope. I was really referring to ganking time on the other side of the map. I think Mask should just head on over to solo lane and kill Zearoe.
kill this Hambois that's in the solo lane?
Yeah, the problem is that Uzzy's got to kind of let the man breathe for a minute. You got to let Zearoe move his way up the lane a little bit. And this is where the tactical feed is actually really good. If I'm Uzzy, I'm just like, man, I'm getting hit by every water cannon all of a sudden. That's so weird how that's happening to me. That's the way you got to play it.
BennyQ, though, removed. Mattypocket brings in too much damage on the Bacchus. Mineral in trouble, too. Oh, that's just 2 kills over here in the dual lane. A nice gank from Matty, even giving the kill over to Oswaald on that Sleepy Time passive, about as well as you can do that.
Yeah, I don't think Matty's doing that on Kuzenbo, is what I'm saying. Like I said, Matty looks like a completely different player on the Bacchus in comparison to every god I've seen him play besides it.
Yes,
played a little bit RDO as well, but this is his comfort zone. And we've seen teams take it away from him consistently. I'm surprised that CryptiK didn't do it this game, because clearly it's a big impact. He's 2-0-1 and has been crushing BennyQ this whole laning phase.
It's been real rough so far for the Xbalanque. He's got the Ninja Town by finish. That'll give him some much-needed mobility to get things started. But look at this, Uzzy even zoning the wave off, so Zearoe will take that opportunity just to back. And of course, it is the Bancross first item, because it could not have been any other way.
No.
And with the way that Uzzy's been bullying him, he'll be down deeper in that Bancross passive more often.
That
so
is
this
true.
will really work, yeah.
That's true, and Uzzy doesn't go boots either. He rushes the Achilles. This is what I'm saying, where Uzzy should really let Zearoe breathe a bit, and I guess just had the right idea that there was going to be a gank coming, because he all of a sudden lets off the gas, and that's exactly when Cope was ulting. I'd love to see Mask head on over to solo lane now that Zearoe might feel a little bit more comfortable to step up in the lane.
Especially, yeah, without Cope having that ultimate to potentially come over and turn things around. He does have a ward just above blue buff, but I doubt that Cope was quite in range of that one, so just good game sense from Uzzy to recognize when he might be in some duress. Maybe even some information from someone else that Cope had gone off into that side of the map, and so he just played it safe.
Also, you kind of just check the sky a lot of the time against Ratatoskr. It's much easier to see him coming than someone like a Thor. Thor's far enough away, it's pretty much impossible. With Ratatoskr, those branches glow pretty bright, so you can sometimes catch him out.
Tree of Yggdrasil, as nice as it is, kind of gives them away a little bit, so always make sure you're keeping your eyes out for some extra information. Mineral trying to force out Oswaald this time and make some much-needed space for BennyQ here in this dual lane where he struggled. Got to be careful. Champo is lurking along with Matty in the jungle, but they don't complete the rotation. They'll stop for these oracles instead and control a bit of this neutral farm in the jungle.
Mask has really just been on power farm mode, level 9
Yeah.
already, the highest level in the game. That's despite Cope getting over to the dual lane and getting an assist. It's really just been farm central so far for Mask, probably waiting to get his boots, or could be another Katana from this position, could be hastened.
I imagine, yeah.
Next up, no need for boots necessarily. Didn't go the pure Katana build on Kali last game, so maybe he still likes the extra movement speed that something like a Talaria could bring, but wouldn't be surprised to see him forego the boots entirely.
Do you think when you go this Golden Blade start, you should be farm-centric as Champo just turns around because Mattypocket was way behind? That means sops' speeds finally come out, but Champo can't quite get in range to follow up with all the damage they need. That means CryptiK out of their A-OK. In fact, they might even keep going as Cope has joined the fray.
Cope dashes in. Now Mask gonna drop that ultimate onto Sops. One more auto attack will do it. And Cope has to turn around just to try and help out onto his support just in case. Sops steps up in a really bad spot. And Mask makes him pay with ease.
This might be it, man. Spacestation Gold are looking good throughout this early game. Mask has a bit of a lead for himself. He's level 10, a bit of a lead for Matty and Oswaald after their strong duo lane starts. The same day that Armada go down, Space Station might rise up.
Is it a bloom? Is it like a full moon tonight or something like that?
Yeah, I'm one of those people that really, follows like astrology and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I bet, yeah.
What's my sign?
You're a Sagittarius.
No.
Oh. Well, just because I follow astrology doesn't mean I'm psychic. I don't know your sign.
Okay. I'm an Aquarius. What does that mean about me?
Oh, I'm also. No, I'm not. I'm an Aries. I don't know why I said that.
It's because everyone wants to be an Aquarius. That's very Aries of you to just lie to me
No,
like that.
Aries is exactly where I am, and it's very accurate for someone who doesn't believe in astrology, because we're like stubborn and
Yeah, I was going to say emotional, stubborn.
all those things.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. But those things are all super vague, so they can apply to anybody.
Correct.
Exactly.
That's the way that you do it.
It's very smart. If you're out there and you find yourself in one of those schemes where someone is like pretending to be able to know things about you.
Let's say that you think someone's a psychic.
Yes, get out of there.
Step back and ask yourself, what was the chain of events that led them to saying that very specific thing for me?
Exactly.
Did they just cold read me the entire way? And the answer is always yes, because psychics don't exist.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
No offense to psychics, of course.
Right. If you're a psychic listening to this, you knew already that we were going to roast psychics, so you wouldn't have tuned in. But just in case maybe you tuned in anyway because you just love SMITE so much, don't take it personal.
No offense.
Yeah.
And now they're legally not allowed to be offended because I said that. That's how that works. It's my choice on whether or not they get offended.
Zearoe might be offended here as Uzzy avoids the water spout. That should spell the end, but Crushing Wave does good to get him out of there. It was that Darkest Nights or BennyQ that almost bought him enough time, but it wasn't enough, and he'll be joined soon by Mineral. Cope at the very least gets Uzzy to make it 1-for-1, but 2-for-1 now as Mineral goes down.
Chapo taunted Sops in once, but didn't hit the second one. So a 2-for-1. across the map. Mask still lurking, doesn't have that ultimate, but Cope taking this guy. He knows Chapo's low, but he's off the mark with the knockup. Chapo had the beads anyways. Probably wouldn't have been enough damage with just the through the Cosmos and Acorn blast damage to get the kill. So I guess the end result is the same. Chapo surviving, but without his beats.
So Cope gets out of there. So Cope gets the kill into Uzzy and solo without using the ultimate then. It must have just been the blink that's on cooldown now that sets that up for him, so that's good. It would have been very nice, as you said, if we could have come over and had that impact in the middle lane too and at least tried to limit the options for Champo. But he makes it out A-OK on this Raijin. And there's action all across the map. That Space Station Gold being aggressive. Uzzy, I think, would have gotten that kill even sooner onto Zearoe, though. But BennyQ, man, this is why Xbalanque is so popular. That ultimate buys him a little bit of time.
And I think he actually got the assist as well onto that kill. He did onto Uzzy in the solo lane.
Right. Because
of that global ultimate. That's the other thing, is if it didn't affect the map enough, he also gets that global assist golden experience. So that's pretty strong. That's why Rage is very popular on this character, because that stacks up the God assist, and you can get it from anywhere. You just got to use the ultimate when a kill's about to happen.
If you're just rating 1 through 3 abilities, where is Xbalanque? No ultimate.
Are passives included?
Yes.
Still pretty good, because he gets a lot of free power,
and
that's what the hunters are good at. He's above average, I would say.
The ultimate catapults him up that much, you'd say.
Yes.
I think so, too. It's just that important. Chapo in some trouble. Thunder Crash gets him out of there, and
flop.
now it's time for Mass to start eating. He takes down Cope first. Sops wants to at least come in and find Chapo, but he has to go way into the tower to get it done. He's incredibly low, and certainly just going to fuel this Bakasura even more. Zero's made the rotation, but he's nowhere near tanky enough to come into this one. Mass can just keep pushing. Crushing Wave, though, drowns him. The Bakasura goes back to base.
Just needed to take a little bit more damage. That's what it was all about. Oswaald, meanwhile, got forced out of that left-hand side and ended up losing the tower because of it. BennyQ not only getting value out of the ultimate in the mid lane, but also seems in the duo lane himself. So really good fight for CryptiK to turn that one back. A good fight for Matty, though. He found a beautiful two-man knockup right into Mask's ultimate. That's exactly what you're looking for. Yeah, 2-0 and 4 so far for Mattypocket. But Zearoe leveraging that Bancroft's talent passive, just waiting. And Mask definitely goes, he still had ult after that. When he doesn't ult for that long, you just kind of assume he doesn't have it, but good patience from Zearoe.
Works out in his favor. He now has a chance to threaten this right side, too, as Uzzy is elsewhere. He's now finally back. He has teleport, though, so he'll likely get here before anything significant happens to this Tier 1 tower. But a good job pushing up and forcing him back to use it. Uzzy even goes Blink with that second relic slot, too, so that's just more aggression going to be coming out from this Achilles, as if he hasn't already been aggressive enough.
I like it. I think that Uzzy being aggressive and getting on top of Zearoe in these fights is going to be pretty critical for Space Station Gold taking down this Habwa early on in the engagements. He's not going a lot of HP. It's been on Chile and now probably going to be a Glad or a Void Shield. So very, very little in the way of HP, but cheap power and protection, really leveraging both parts of what Achilles can do.
A little bit of physical protection's finally coming out from Zearoe here now. So acknowledging that as the solo laner, he must at least dip his toe into something that symbolize or even is close to, you know, some kind of front line.
Yeah. And now he's done it. And now Rod of Tahuti next item, please.
Yeah, right, yeah.
That's the way this is going to go. I really hope it's not Rod next item. That would not be particularly effective.
I think so, too. What do you want to see from next? What do you want to see from Benny next, too, as he's forced to use the ultimate just to get away? Mast and Oswaald now pressuring the duo lane. Good job getting that cooldown out.
Beads used by BennyQ as well, but he got 2 ultimates for it. So Space Station Gold feel pretty confident in pulling this, but this isn't a great fight for them should one break out because they're missing out on that regurgitate.
Sob still has Final Judgment too, so this is not free. Cope forces Champo into the ultimate with the ultimate of his own. Mast has to jump away because the long-range damage from Sops means there is no safety. Mineral finds the epic uppercut into Oswaald, who also leads, and just like that, Gold Fury, a thing of the past, at least for Space Station. It looks like even CryptiK don't feel comfortable pulling it yet.
I don't know why Cope didn't just land on the Mask, though. I mean, Sops was really focusing on the objective and hitting the person tanking it and the objective itself. Cope was on a different target. If those two synergize, someone dies. It doesn't really matter who the target is there. If Sops changes his target to Chapo, Chapo dies. If Cope changes his target to Mask, Mask dies. You just gotta pick one from that scenario. And CryptiK suffering from a bit of lack of communication. They still make sure the Gold Fury doesn't go down and all that kind of good stuff, but they don't get as much out of it as they could have.
My man Doug, can you pull those charts up for me? Because despite this early start for Space Station that was looking good, this game is virtually tied. I was feeling really high on Space Station. They had about a 2,000 or so gold lead that they manufactured from Matty and Oswald's pressure and from Mask getting some good ganks. But that's all but evaporated here at this point. I mean, this is a very even game between these two teams now. So it's certainly not in Space Station's court. They do have Bakasura. He has this Iqvile finish. That's a bunch of power he's going to be getting as he stacks those autos up, getting about 75 extra from this item. But I don't know, man, if this is entirely in their court anymore.
CryptiK has definitely leveraged it out, and this Hachiman really made a pretty big impact so far. We'll see if that's the case. As Old Fury, gone.
Yeah, you had to use it. I like that Sops held that ultimate towards the end.
Space Station, I wonder if they felt like they really couldn't fight from there. I mean, Uzzy was going back to base. I guess they didn't know where Hachiman was. Maybe they felt like that was a 5-on-4.
Mass, though, wants to punish BennyQ. Aegis comes out first. He does not have beads. Rising Jaguar gets him away, and the ultimate. That's enough to disengage. In fact, even Cope shows his face. He dashes in, finds the Sun to Oswaald, and that's the Aegis in trade. But Matty and Uzzy on the way, but Oswald's already gone. They won't be able to save their Hunter. They can only avenge him. Mass jumps up to avoid BennyQ's damage, and that should spell the end for the Hunter, but Cope finds a double somehow.
Chapo finally able to finish off BennyQ as Uzzy
Aegis
wants to keep it going. Tycho drums right there. Chapo gets a double of his own, brings Mineral back into the clutches of his whole team. Mineral just a formality now. Eventually will fall once the two get broken from the Mez. And indeed he will. Chapo finds all three in that fight for his killing spree. Good rotation in. Sometimes being late to the fight is the best thing that you can do, and that's what Chapo did right there.
You can ask Cyclone's been season 2.
That's right. Fashionably late is what I like to call that. That's what Chapo was in that fight.
But I don't know. Shouldn't they just been happy with the kill on Oswaald? That was more than I thought CryptiK was going to get out of that fight, was even killing him. That starts with BennyQ tremendously in trouble under the pressure from Mast and Oswaald there in that lane. I don't know. It seems like an overcommit from CryptiK to go back in at all there, and at least they got, the 2 kills that they got, but that one ends up not working out so much for him.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Benny's positioning left a little bit to be desired. I also think that Space Station Gold could have killed Benny on the initial outset. Remember, think back to game 1 when I highlighted Mask dealing damage to Sops and Uzzy holding the execute because he knows that the only way the man lives is if he Aegises both execute and all of my damage. In that instance, the Aegis immune all the damage from Mask and Oswaald. All he has to do is hold the mounted archery.
Well, Cope trusting the knockup would come through from Zearoe, but Mast just switches targets. But Crushing Wave blows Mast up, deleted, and there's the turnaround potential from the Hachiman solo. That ult is insane, man.
Especially when you're 5% health and that Bancroft's Talon gets it done for you in the solo lane. Perfect item purchased by Zearoe. He was
Of course.
He was baiting them all along.
I can't believe you turned to me, you fools. Now I'm ready to rock. Upcharge there too. That certainly helped power through for a little bit extra damage for Zearoe, man. But that Hachiman, that's why you pick him. And that's why Zearoe in particular picks him, because not a lot of other people play it that way, I bet.
No. I'm going in, and I'm ulting. And that's what I'm doing, and it's going to work out. And he buys the Obsidian Shard. I would have liked to see a Spear of the Magus from Sops, I think, instead of this Divine Ruin. I don't think you really need Divine in this game. I mean, Achilles, again, incidental healing from Mask. Chapo has a Soul Gem. Oswaald has Lifesteal. But even through all of these things, I think that Thoth has enough great damage. And if he builds a Spear of the Magus, then he can poke out and strip those prots for Zearoe. You can kill tanks easier this way. It's not as good as it used to be because it used to double proc if you were shooting through your wall because the wall damage would proc as well. Not the case anymore, so not quite as good, but I still think it may have been worth a pickup here.
Copebby goes in. He finds Mattypocket underneath the tier 1 tower. Masto lurking in the jungle, so an engage not the safest for Team CryptiK, but they've grouped up a bit first. And that might net them this tier 1 tower. Though Uzzy blinks on the backside, can't find anything with the stun, gets knocked up immediately. Mattypocket finds Mineral with a knockup of his own. Stun Sops and intoxicates good. But another stun in return, along with BennyQ's ultimate, buys them some time.
Mask gonna blink in. Everyone else from Space Station started backing up. Zearoe still has that ultimate available, and you know he's looking for it.
He absolutely is, though he's not low enough yet. He's not getting enough band cross yet, so bide his time at this point before he goes in. Mineral messes out Uzzy. That sets up for the team. Chapo still has his ultimate. That could be nice, but Cope can't find what he's looking for there and has to return as well.
I knew the assault map got changed, but I didn't know it looked
Man,
just
you beat
like
me
this.
to it. That's unfortunate. I was right there, I promise.
A little faster on the trigger, Finch.
That's all it is.
Maybe you should talk a little bit more.
We talked about it. Maybe I will. You know, Jormungandr is on that new Assault map. I don't know how much you've played of it. He's kind of just chilling.
All right, well, just because you want to talk more doesn't mean you should just say anything at all. You
I
should
like
say-
an Assault. You don't like Assault?
No, I do. I've actually been playing a lot more Assault as of late.
I don't mind the potions as much as everyone else does.
I don't either. Just get better.
I think so too. The game should end sooner, and now
Retweet.
it does.
Yeah. All these tower camping sissies trying to take my health pots. This is Assault.
We came here to get good. That's exactly right. Mast has the kin size finish now. This Bakasura truly will be swinging when these next few fights start. Mineral has to use the mez to buy himself a moment, but it's Cope who's in trouble. Never has time. Chapo Thunder crashes right on top of him and puts him in the ground. That's a 5v4 now for Space Station.
Oni Fury down below half. Sop still has that ultimate and fires it off, but reset perfectly by Oswaald. Zearoe hits 2 frontliners with that crushing wave, but Space Station Gold already has the Oni Fury, and watch out for Mask. He doesn't have Blink, but he has that ultimate.
Has a chance to loop around, but can't quite find it. But that was still played about as well as possible. Aided tremendously, though, by Cope being overly aggressive in the jungle and just gets caught out, unfortunately for him. They find that kill nicely, balance the aggro on the Gold Fury to make sure that it doesn't get stolen, and clean up the objective. Now they're looking for this tier 2.
Again, really good reset by
Or maybe not.
Oswaald that fight. You just have to be really aware to what the enemy team is planning on doing, and Oswaald right on the right moment there. And Chapo as well, to stand outside the circle. If Chapo's inside the circle, then all it does is default to him, and that's Team CryptiK's Oni Fury. Now it's a matter of what can Space Station Gold get from these extra waves, these boosted waves that are coming down. They're about halfway down the map right now. You see it meeting up with Sops right now in the mid lane. I think if I'm Space Station Gold, I'm trying to force some sort of fight on the right-hand side. There's no chance we can actually do Fire Giant from here with ease, but doesn't mean we don't have to make CryptiK respect a Fire Giant push, especially if they're going to send someone to the left lane to clear these waves.
Do you know what really rounds out solo Hobwop?
What's that?
Doom Orb.
So true, man. So true. This item is good. It doesn't
It is
get
a good item.
It doesn't get purchased enough, especially in sieging scenarios. The problem is with when Zearoe is building this,
Yes.
is that all the fights are about to start happening in
In
the
the
jungle.
jungle.
And that's where Doom Orb is really not that good. I don't like it here. I think you really want it either early, where you go Doom Orb 2, go back, finish a pen item, then come back and finish the full Doom Orb, or Doomer Orb as I like to call it. That power spike feels okay to me, and you're still taking all your fights in lane, so that makes it feel better. From here, though, I don't think Zero's going to get nearly as much value out of it as he probably should. It's much better in the late game scenarios.
Well, even if he's defending the siege, isn't it likely Sops who's the one clearing?
He's still close enough
He's
that it's
close,
good.
sure.
Yeah, it's still close enough that it's good. I like it in defensive and offensive siege scenarios.
Sure.
As long as there's lots of minions coming near me, I'm good. It doesn't really matter which way they're going.
Well, that's good news then for him. He'll at least be able to get it there. It's just a question of how well can they do in these engagements. Around the Oni Fury, Zearoe was never able to find much damage. They'll need more from him here as Cope goes into the ultimate. That's the right call, but Sops already removed. The damage from Mass just too strong, and he wants more. Zearoe never gets it off. He never gets to do much at all. Mass blows him up as well, but now he's stuck, hunted down by Copebby on the right-hand side. Oswaald finds Benny, but Cope puts Mass down. That's 3 for 1 in favor of Space Station.
Man, if Chapo had turned in time and started fearing Cope away from Mask, that could have been a huge play. Though Cope did have his Magi's Cloak, so maybe that wouldn't have been an option. But a great fight for Mask, really got in there quickly. And speaking of getting in there, you already know Chapo's jumping in.
Oh, I think this might be it, Aggro. We've got a really good chance for Space Station to finally get all these pieces to line up together. The tier 2 tower and right goes down. Sops will be up soon, about 6 seconds away, and they don't have Mass, so it'll be difficult for them to close this game out. But they've got Oswaald, this heavenly banner, to swing away at this right side Phoenix. That'll definitely go down.
Right side Phoenix with ease, but good decision. Back it up. No chance to end from here. I mean, Sops has ult, level 17 Thoth. That's still pretty good.
We're getting
on
there.
the defense.
They got a chance.
They're doing the thing. They've done the thing before, though.
They have. They've gotten close.
They've gotten close a couple times.
They're up 6K. It's not a ton as we have, sort of crossed the threshold now.
And they got the worst Phoenix.
That is
because
the worst.
The closest one to Fire Giant. And it's just not as nice looking as the other Phoenixes.
Go ahead. Give me 3 reasons why that's true.
Its eyes are a little bit further apart than the other Phoenixes.
Yeah?
It doesn't dress as sharply.
Yeah.
And
That's probably true.
it doesn't work out as much either.
Oh, man. All right. I know it's going to get that personal towards the end. That's my bad.
Well, I just like, when we call it the worst Phoenix, I don't think we give good enough reasons as to why it's so much worse than the other ones.
Its eyes are too far.
So
That's rough.
So I don't know. I just wanted to really amp it up a notch.
Came after it on a real personal level. Could say it's not as good at its job, you know. Maybe it'd fire slightly smaller bolts out, you know, or something like that, you know. But you went after
No,
it.
it's ugly.
Yeah, you went there. Attacked on that level. And then the double down. I appreciate it. As enhanced fire giant now. We're at the 26
Did I
minute
mention
mark.
it's dumb? It's less intelligent.
I
too.
don't think so, because you hit it on its appearance, its style, and what was the last thing you had?
It's appearance again.
Oh, it's
That it
good.
doesn't
good,
go
good.
to the gym enough.
That's right. Yeah, and it's lazy. That's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah, and it's dumb, by the way.
Yeah, no way it's gonna recover. Well, you went 4. That's too many. I'm not sold anymore. As
Unlucky.
Oni Fury goes down, or was that the regular gold?
That was
Fury?
gold.
That was a regular gold for Space Station. They grabbed it. Mattypocket's gonna get caught, and there will be some poke here. But Uzzy nearby, so is Chapo. He still has the leap, so that's certainly not gonna spell the end for him. Space Station now need to back up, group, spend some of this money, and get ready for this enhanced Fire Giant. They still have Fire Minions in right that CryptiK have to worry about on this defense. They've got a Thoth, so defense is not impossible for CryptiK. They just can't get blown up in the jungle before the fight.
By Mask in particular, who's now full build, by the way. Silver Branch Bow
Really?
as the last option. So Silver Branch is a kind of weird item where the passive you think, well, okay, I've got to get it on characters that have big stims because that's how I'm going to get value out of this passive. But ignore the passive for a second and just look at the stats. 35% attack speed,
He's at 2.5.
some
How much
power,
over is-
some pen. I don't know if he's over at all. And I don't think that that's a part of the spectator UI.
Right.
But 30 power, 10 pen, 35% attack speed. That's good by itself.
Yes.
I've got no problem with this. Is it better in this exact spot than something like Odysseus bow or Atalanta's bow? It's probably better than Atalanta's because you already have a lot of movement speed.
As long as it helps him blow up a target, though, it's still pretty good. Uzzy is the one that's hurting a little bit, though. Some of these autos from BennyQ are starting to swing in their own right. Oswaald half HP, and Zearoe blinks over and doesn't find very much of the crushing wave there at all. And now it's Mass' turn. He finds Benny, but is traded out 1-for-1. Oswaald, though, resets those numbers. Zearoe goes down, and now Mineral has to leave. 2-for-1, make it 3, as Oswaald finds a double.
Sops better get on the run as well. Slowed. Aegis, good. Needs the beads as well, but now he's dead to the Raiju dot. Chapo got him with that one, and now it's only Cope left alive. Scratch that. Full deicide. Space Station gold. Getting
This
a
is it.
W today.
This is it. This is their moment. How's that happening, man? Armada goes down the top end, and now here Space Station Gold is on the bottom end, finally getting on the board with a W. No one going to be up in time.
Oh no, Finch. No one told them it's opposite week.
That's right.
You get wins by losing and
Oh,
losses
man.
by winning.
Man, you're really out here today. Why did CryptiK take that fight in the jungle? Was it because they were getting good damage onto
Because
towards the
Uzzy,
start of that fight on Uzzy? Yeah.
They poke Uzzy out in the beginning of the fight, so they feel like it's a good engagement, but BennyQ ends up in a bad spot. And any time that the front line is surging forward and there's a Bakasura who can easily blink behind you and just chomp on your carries, it's going to turn a good fight into a bad fight pretty quickly.
I always say it. If you're the assassin, my goal is to be forgotten in the fight.
Yes.
It's sort of the perfect thing. If you can Assassin's Creed blend into that crowd of unsuspecting nuns, right, and then you come out of it all of a sudden, I was the assassin. I was here all along. It's exactly what you want, and that's what Mask got.
Who would ever mistake someone in that getup for a nun? That's my question.
Well, he's kind of in the center. He has the hood and everything, right?
How tall are these nuns?
He's dummy tall, isn't he? He's definitely
Yeah, he's
towering
really
over
tall,
them.
so there's no way you'd be like, what is that weirdly dressed guy doing with all these nuns?
He's just like innocent, clearly, like a man of faith or something. He would never stab me.
Never, ever.
That's exactly what he's going to do. Unfortunately, you fell for it.
Unlucky.
Bales of hay, too. Watch out for those. Let's get it back over to the desk, though, because we can talk about Assassin's Creed all day.
Whatever you guys are talking about, I want none of it.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I got nothing.
Assassin's
man.
Creed. That's about all I picked up from Finch there.
Well, SSG swan dive into the victory. That's going to take this one. Thumbs up to them. Big deal, though. This is actually a really big win. Mask and the boys go ahead and topple over CryptiK. Takes 3 games, but they are able to win the set. And I mentioned Mask because I do think that a lot of it kind of came from him, but also the team buying into Mask.
This felt like the first time where Spacestation Gold actually looked like they were all on the exact same page, and I loved every second of it. I think that these guys have a ton of potential if they're able to maintain this same level of composure throughout their matches. Of course,
Sure.
I do think that there's definitely still some areas that they can look for improvement. Oswaald did not have the greatest set of all time today. I think he kind of got a little bit bailed out there by Mask and Chapo and Matty being able to perform pretty well, but I really could not get enough of Mash Jungle today. I think that he just looked like how he looked like when he was in the SPL.
He really did. Just real strong jungle nonsense out of Mask, able to kind of work with his team and provide exactly what they needed to. And then, like I said, Spacestation Gold on the other side did just that for Mask. They bought in, they allowed him to be the guy, they gave him the proverbial ball, as Aggro would say, and, I mean, the rest is history. They walk away with their first set win.
I'm losing a lot of meme opportunities here back at the home front, though, Tom, because I used to be able to make fun of Matty and Chapo, and now I can't.
No, you still absolutely can. Maybe not for this game. Elchapo goes 8-1-7, and Mattypocket 3-0-15. But
what is this, Violet? Why can't they do this well in their ranked games? I get them on my team.
Well, it's because Mask isn't carrying them in the ranked games. That's what it is.
No, I mean, I joke about it, but in all honesty, I really do think, well, only for Matty. I don't want to be mean to Chapo.
I'll be mean to Chapo. Fight Taco. There it is. I'm just going to make you fight for me anytime I get into trouble.
If that's what you want to call it.
Like
but
Pokemon. Just, all right, you really got
Just
something to say to
battle.
me? You really want to fight me? It's me at a bar, and then I just call you later and be like, yo, Taco, you need to come through real quick.
I need to come through real quick and flex on some people.
Yeah, just come through. And I'm like, one sec. I just wait. And then you show up and you handle it.
Oh, well, honestly, the biggest takeaway, though, from this set, in my mind, is the fact that CryptiK have now, I think, been spoiled a little bit here as far as that second place position in the standings is concerned, because Sanguine got a massive set win over Armada, and now for CryptiK, if they want to have any sort of like a salvageable bounce back to try and remain in contention for that second place in the standings, they're going to have to close out this split incredibly strong for the SML.
I mean, that's what we've been talking about with respects to SSGG is, sure, they might not be number one in the league, but can they play spoiler? And they just might do it. The first win for the boys in black, white, and gold, 1-6. Team CryptiK 3-4, 4-3 for Sanguine. And Armada find their first loss of the season as Sanguine beat them up earlier today.
One thing's for sure, though, the level of competition is steadily but surely rising. Spacestation Gold, the big thing that they were struggling with throughout a large portion of their more recent sets, aside from this one, of course, is the fact that they just couldn't close out. They would constantly take teams to the very edge, but then just be unable to actually fully capitalize for their own victory. But now they've done it. Hey, they went the whole 9 yards.
They did it. HighResExpo.com. You can get your own tickets for Hi-Res Expo. That's, of course, where the big boys play everything in the finals. That's where we see the finals. So that's where you want to be live here in Atlanta, Georgia.
You also get the chance to meet some of us, meet some of the players, and meet some of the other fans. I mean, you guys can have your own conversations outside of just the Mixer chat.
Yeah, that's the fun stuff. Always bringing it together. Don't forget, tomorrow's going to be Esports Weekly. Thursday is going to be Pro League. Friday is going to be Pro League. You're not going to want to miss any of it. I'm going to get out of here. You guys should too. Thanks for joining us. Peace, and much love to you.
The SMITE Minor League, brought to you by Skillshot. Hi-Res Studios, Titan Forge, INAP, Steel Series, and Respawn.